Mr. Okay, so I think we are live now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure for us to kickstart this support session for this new term. I'm sure we are all doing wonderfully well as well. For this today's session is the first one we are having for this term. So we are looking forward to responding to your issues, complaints, especially now that it's the beginning of the new term and there's so much to be done, on the OGSERA platform. So yes, just a quick review on what we'll be doing today. Part of what we intend to do today is to tell you some of the key things that you need to do as SPAs, and also be able to respond to some of the issues that some of us have been having, probably having students, disabled students, and all of that. So we'll be taking all of those sessions for today, right? So Quincy is here. She would facilitate the whole session. Then I also have Precious here as well. Then we have Mr. Fitz. So Quincy, yeah, let's get started now. Thank you. You're muted. You're muted. Okay. Yes, so Quincy, we can have you now. Okay. Well, while we are waiting for Quincy to join up. Okay. Once again, my name is Akinde Isiaka, and I'm sure we are also being familiar with Precious. Maybe each of us can just do a bit of introduction and before we get started. So my name is Akinde Isiaka, and so the others could briefly introduce themselves as well. So Precious, just a brief introduction from you. So
All right. Uh, I'm Precious by name, Precious Jeremy, and we are very, very happy to have you, to have everyone here. And as usual, thank you for your cooperation since we started, and we still hope to serve you better and better. So thank you for joining us for today. God bless us all. I'm Precious by name. Thank you.
all right, thank you so much, Precious. All right, so going straight to the business of the day, right? Remember, first of all, we'll start by highlighting the key things that we're supposed to do as SPA, especially now that the new term, first term 2022/2023 has been activated, right? So while we are taking this session, for most of us that have questions, complaints, inquiries, just remember to make use of the chat sections. Just drop all your questions there. So once we are done, we'll be taking all of those questions directly from there. All right. So I think the first thing that we want to do, which is very important, that all SPs must, the first thing we need to do is from last time, students that were promoted to the next class. So how do you move them appropriately to their class? So we'll be talking around the practical example on how you can, get to do all of that. How you'll be able to promote students from primary 4 to primary 5 to the appropriate class arm. So Mr. Precious will be giving us a brief demonstration around that. Yes, we also know we have issues around school transfer, relocation. So how do you get to do all of this as well? So we'll be doing a brief demonstration on all of that. Meanwhile, as this demonstration is ongoing, please endeavor to drop your questions in the chat sections. We will take up the questions from there. All right. So Precious, I don't know if you're ready. So we can start directly with the how SPs will add students to their appropriate class arm. So just let me know once you're ready, so you could take us through the demonstration on how to do that. Meanwhile, while we are getting ready for Mr. Precious to come up, remember as an SPA, because this is a new session, right? So the first key thing you need to do is to move the promoted student to the appropriate class arm. You'll be able to do that from the broadsheet, which Mr. Precious would take us through that just now. So Mr. Precious, let me know once you're ready so you could get started. You're muted, please.
I said, give me some minute. I'm trying to log into a school presently
Okay, good.
before I share
Okay.
my screen.
All right, while we are waiting for Mr. Precious, please don't forget that for your questions, please drop your questions from there. We'll be able to pick up your questions and we'll be glad to respond to your questions directly from them.
All right.
Your screen is not showing yet, Mr. Precious. While we are still waiting for Mr. Precious to pick us through that demonstration, right? So the basic thing I could just quickly do a brief explanation around it, right? So as SP, first thing you need to do is to before you can place students in the appropriate class, because the new term is now activated, ensure that you have done allocation. We notice that you have not done some have not done allocation, HOS allocation or subject teacher allocation, right? So the first thing you need to do is that ensure you have done HOS allocation for this first term, right? Because you'll be able to move the student to their appropriate class through the HOS by posting recommendation, which we are going to share the breakdown, just now. Okay, so this new 2022-2023 term is activated. Ensure you have done HOS allocation, then you can proceed to doing teacher allocation and class teacher allocation later on. All right. But the first key thing, like I've said, is ensure you have done HOS allocation. So once that is done, right, to set students to the appropriate class, you'll be doing this through the HOS account page, okay? And what you need to do majorly there is to go to your broadsheet. The HOS will log in. So you go to your broadsheet. On your broadsheet, it opens. You'll be able to do this per class. Okay, so once you go to the broadsheet, select the program, select the class, then from there, the last edge by each student name, there's a menu box that you can click to choose the term that you place the student. So per class, for example, you select the various class for those that are promoted, the class that they should be promoted to. Once you have selected on the HOS account, you see the button at the top, post recommendation. So once you click on the post recommendation, that button would move the student to the appropriate class for the new term. Okay, so that would help solve that issue on how to move your student from one class to another. So that's where you'll be able to get this sorted. Meanwhile, while we are still waiting for Mr. Precious to run through, some of this demonstration for us, I think another thing that we'll also do, if you have questions, remember to drop the questions on the chat section. So another thing that we'll also do is that we'll make brief demo videos around all of these things. So for those that missed the session, you can always go back and reference those videos, to guide you through. Okay, so I think that's sort of how you can move students to the appropriate class arm. Okay, so I think Quinsley is here. So after this session, you can help just be putting, we can be taking participant questions directly from there. But before doing that, I might just also want to share a brief around, I know that transfer is ongoing, relocation is ongoing, special placement is also ongoing, right? So as SPs, how am I going to receive students that are placed into my school? Especially for those of us that are entrance into GS1, right? So on our SP page, for those of us that are receiving students, right, you see that there's an under enrollment, you have the option of learners placement, my school placement. So the my school placement gives you access to all the students that has been placed to your school, right? So there's a menu box at the front that what you'll be doing for those students that you are receiving, you are confirming with the students. If you have received them, you can now place them to the appropriate classes. So that's also one of the key things that SPs we need to do for receiving students that are placed to your school, right? If you just go to enrollment, learners placement, my school placement, right? So you can always place the student to the appropriate class arms from there. So for those of us that are also flagship school, majorly, so students that have done screening tests and they've passed, they've made the cutoff mark, the students are supposed to bring their admission letter and bring it to your school. But as SPA, you are confirming the admission letter with your placement list. So If it conforms with the what you have in your placement list, so you can admit the students by placing them as well in the appropriate class arm. So that's what we are going to do for placing students. So the other option which are also available is for the school transfer, relocation, and special placement, right? So how would you as SP know student that have been placed that was transferred or that was relocated or that did special placement to your school? So under the enrollment page as well, under the enrollment menu, you have option like learners transfer. So if you click on the, I hope that we'll be able to do a brief demonstration around all of that very soon. So if you click on learners transfer, you see the option admin report. So the admin report gives you details around students that have been that use school transfer to your school, or that use relocation, or that use special placement. You see those that have been approved. So what you are doing as SPA is that you are placing those that are approved. The ministry is the one doing the approval, right? So, but it's just showing on your page that so student has applied, and you'll be able to see the status. So for the those that have the status of approved, you'll be able to place them in the appropriate class arm. So that's what you are doing. So for enrollment now, SPAs now will be placing the student into the appropriate class arm, whether you are doing for the normal placement or whether you are doing for transfer, relocation, and co. So if students come to your school that they have been placed to your school, you ask whether it is school transfer, whether it is relocation or special placement, or whether it is the normal placement. So from there, you can double check with what they brought there. You can place them to the appropriate class. So I think that maybe now we could just start taking the questions while we are still waiting for Mr. Precious to do the demonstration for us. So Quincy, if you are here, you can help to maybe just start taking the questions one at a time. Just put up the questions so we can take them.
All right, Mr. Isiaka, I'll just go ahead with that. So, we have the first one that says, by Mr. Ajayi Oluwatobi. So he said, the transfer of teachers from one school to another. How do we go about it, Mr.
Awesome.
Kinden?
All right, so basically for transfer of teachers, right? So that module is also currently available. I'm sure the ministry are really working out how to make it very easier. So for we are all aware that teachers have been moved from one school to another. So how do you place them appropriately? Probably before the end of next week, this should be done. So necessary process should be communicated as to how teachers can move from one school to another on the platform. So on this, just we implore you to exercise a bit of patience, maximum till next week, before when the ministry will share the appropriate procedure on how you can move teachers from one school to another. But the module is already ready. It should be available anytime from next week. So you can still leave them for now, pending in time that till next week when the details around it is shared as to how you can place them to the appropriate school. I know I received a complaint around this that okay, how do I have a new HOS in my school, or the previous one has been transferred to another school. So because of that, I can't do all of the key things that I need to do. So what you just need to do in that case is still maintain the previous HOS for now, so you can do all of the necessary activities that you need to do, like placing the students, assessing the broadsheet and co. Right. So once you have done that, then by next week, once the module is ready for you to effect the changes, you can go ahead with that. So don't let that delay what you want to do. Just if you are still waiting, use the previous one to carry out all of these activities. Then by next week, when the module will be ready for you, the ministry will communicate as to the process on how you can, do all of these things. So I hope that
All
answers
right.
your question, Mr. Ajayi Oluwatobi.
All right, so thank you. We still have another question from Mr. Tobiloba David. He said, please, I am unable to log in my OGSERA account. It looks as if my email is locked up.
Okay, so on this, majorly, right, you will notice that on the login page, there is an option of forget password. Okay, so in this case, what you could also use is use the forget password option. So that would help you to generate a link that you can use to reset your password. Right. So the major challenge we usually have here is that if you use the forget password, your email must be very active, right? Your email must be active. So what you need to do is that once you use that forget password, a notification will be sent to that your email. Okay. So when you are checking your email, ensure you check the inbox or the spam, because most of the time these messages are diverted to your spam message. So on your email, check your inbox and also check your spam and message appropriately. So once you are able to use the link, you'll be able to reset your password from there. So, Mr. Ajayi, but that's one of the key things that you can do to help you to reset your password. So I hope that answers your question.
So Mr. Olalekan Oke asked a question you've answered already. So we'll just move to, okay. So it's still the same question. He talked about the transfer of teachers. So let's move briefly to Mr. Ayodeji Oyalowo. Show practical examples.
Yes, definitely. We'll show practical example. Like I said, I'm sure Mr. Precious will join us anytime soon. So he's going to take us through some of these practical examples. And one of the key things we also promised is that as to all of these processes, we're currently working on just making short demo videos that can also help you. So before the end of this week, we would also share short demonstration video that would also help aid all of this explanation as well. So Mr. Ayodeji will do the demonstration. Just hold on. Yeah. Okay. Quincy, can we have the next question, please?
All right. So from Mr. Ajayulu Atobi. He said, my school, for example, our SS1 students are in two arms, while our SS2 is in one arm. Will they be divided into two arms when placing two class arms?
The classroom. Okay, thank you very much for this question. I hope I can just do a practical example right now. All right, so from thank you for that question. Okay, from your broadsheet, right? If you select, for example, SS1 humanities, for example, SS1 humanities has B, right? Meanwhile, SS2 just have A, right? So if you are placing the student on the broadsheet, appropriate class arm that will be displaying there for SS2 will only be the available class arm that you have in your school. So you'll be placing them appropriately. Say for example, in SS2, like the example I gave, in SS2 we have just one arm, which is B. Meanwhile, in SS1 humanities, we have both A and B. So if I want to choose the class arm that student is to be placed into in my broadsheet, the available class arm that will only display that only SS2B. Right? So I can just choose it and place them appropriately into that class. And if you want to add more class arm, you can go to your school manager and add more class arm so you can be able to add them appropriately in your broadsheet. So the broadsheet would help you to answer to place the student based on the available class that you have in your school. And if you know you want to create an additional class just go ahead to creating class then you can now place the students from the broadsheet directly from there. So, Mr. Ajayi, just go to your broadsheet, select the program SS1 Humanities or Science, for example. Then it's going to display all the students. You can place them appropriately to their class arm. The class that you are promoting them to is going to display all the available class arm for that class. So you can now place them as appropriate into those classes. So that
Alright.
should help. Just let me know if it doesn't, so we could take that questions for that too.
So we have a question from Mr. Heritage. So he said, how can we transfer the GSS3 to SS1?
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much, Heritage. It's good to also have you, this new session. All right, so majorly, right, for GSS3 moving to SS class, we know the Becker result is still currently ongoing, right? So by next week as well, details will be shared as to how you can move students from GSS3 to SS class based on their Becker results. So details around that will be shared next week. It's just because for now, because most of the students are still checking their Becker results, right? So that's why the process is just on hold for now. So by next week, we will start sharing details as to how you can place the students into the next class and how those that didn't meet up with the cutoff mark would also, do all of that. So details around placing students from GSS3 once again to SS class will be shared next week, right? We'll be having other sessions as well next week, Tuesday and Thursday. So hopefully we'll share all of these details in those comment section as well. Yeah.
Okay, so from Mr. Kabiru Abbas, so he said, "Is this for state school alone or private school can also participate?" So I'm
Yeah,
guessing
so
he's
Mr.
talking about
Kabiru,
this virtual support session. So
yeah, so what I guess it's both open. If you also a private school and you also run on the on this on Everytime's platform as well, it's also open. You can ask your question. We would always respond to your question, but majorly is around providing support because one of the key things we do at Everytime's is to ensure that for all users that are using our platform, you're able to get the needed support. So this is just a virtual support session that can help to respond to people's needs or people's questions. So just a way of having a better experiences, using the platform, right? So regardless of private, public, you can always ask your question. We'll always be here to respond to your question for you to have a better experience. Yes, so it's open.
okay, so this is also an important question. So we have a question by Olalikon. Okay, how can a learner ID be generated for the previous
Previously.
session?
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for that question, right? So it depends on which school the student is. So if it's public school majorly, right, all students are meant to have had learner ID, except for students that are just coming newly to the new class, and maybe they are coming from other states. But all students in Ogun State public school, for example, all of them have a learner ID already, right? So except if the student is just coming from outside the state, right, and the system would automatically generate learner ID for such students. So what this means is that SPAs cannot generate learner ID for students. All right, the system automatically does that if it's and it only does that if the student is a new student that is coming from outside the state, and the student is only going into an entry class, right? Not like JS2 and I'm not having a learner ID. So the system helps to check all of those ones. So in this question now, it depends on where the student is coming from, private or public school. If it's a public school, then definitely the student must have had learner ID. But if it is a private school, really, or in your because most of the private schools also have their West um, portal as well. So you'll be generating your learner ID from your MOS portal, right? There's an option that is there's a menu generate learner ID. So you can generate your learner ID from there, carry on with all the necessary activities. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Olalekon. Okay. But if it does not, please use the chat section for further clarification.
All right, so we have by Mr. Kabiru Abbas. How do we handle students' data? What is your data protection policy?
Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abbas. All right. So one of the key interesting things guiding any organization and also for exams, for that matter, is data protection policy. So you are rest assured that all your school data are protected within your school, right? Everything around it is 100% fully protected, and there's also a 100% data protection policy that guides all school, that guides every activity that we also do as an organization. So you be rest assured that everything is 100% fully secured and all your data are also secured, according to your scope. I guess that's a question coming around from the private schools that are using the EduTams
Private
portal.
schools. Yes,
So,
I'm
so
guessing that
those
too.
are one of the key things that we, for us as an organization, for us as a company, we take very, very serious, right? Because data is something that you don't just want to joke with anyhow. So, for all the private schools, that are using EduTams as a service, right? So, there's an agreement that binds all our relationship that everything around your school is fully secure. So, be rest assured that there's 100% data protection policy that guides all activities that we do as an organization. Yeah.
All right, so from Mr. Samuel Perola, a primary six learner who wasn't placed, maybe by omission, what can the learner do?
Okay, good. All right. So there are options that learners can do in this case, right? So other options are like applying for special placement, right? So if I'm a primary six learner and was not probably missed the placement of my school and I did not also do screening tests, other available option is to apply for special placement. Maybe I can just briefly explain the various open admissions that are currently available. So there is
Yes, please
relocation,
do.
right? So the relocation is open for students that are placed, as primary school students that are placed, maybe, but they want to change their school of choice, right? So I want to relocate. It means that if I'm going to be applying for relocation, I must have an active placement. It means that I've been placed in my previous school, so I can apply for relocation. And it's only entry into GSS1 pass, right? So the special placement on the other hand is for maybe student coming from outside the state, or student that miss placement, like you said in this case, or student that didn't screening test that want to gain admission into GSS1. All right. So students in such cases should apply for the special placement, and you'll be able to apply directly on the OGSERA website. Just go ahead and apply from there. You'll be able to apply, but when you're applying, please take note that you're applying for special placement. So, Mr. Samuel, students in this category should apply for special placement. So that will help to solve this particular issue. So on the other hand, school transfer on the other hand is for admission into other entry classes like GS2, GS3. But GS3 and SS1, those ones, because they are entry classes, they require the applicant seeking approval first from the ministry before even applying at all. Right. So that's just the available options: relocation, school transfer, and also special placements. The school transfer is also available for primary school, both primary school and also junior secondary or senior secondary school. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Samuel. If it does not, please endeavor to use the chat section for further clarification, because that is one of the key essence of this support session. Yeah.
Okay, so this is by Mr. Peter Zan. Hello, sir. I paid for relocation of students into secondary schools. Through remitter, the payment was successful, but yet to be effected since Sunday. What is the way out? And there are two.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter. At first, I might say myself apologies for probably the inconveniences that you're having, right? So that's an issue with the payment gateway system, right? We've tried to channel all of these issues in that area, and be rest assured that before the end of today, what you can do is that on our WhatsApp platform, or if you can even share that here, please share the we need the receipt. In the receipt, the major details that we need to just help you double check this payment is the RL number, and also the payment code. Right, you'll be able to get that RL number and the payment code from the receipt that was sent to your email when you made that payment. So check your receipt and send us the RL number and the payment code, so we can help you to check with the payment gateway to update your payment, so you can proceed with you can proceed with your application. So once again, apologies for the inconveniences in this case, but just send us this RL number and the payment code, so we can help you double check and update the payments for you. You can either send the details to us via the various WhatsApp help decks, or just share it here if you can before the end of this session, so we can pick it up and communicate as appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, so I have a question here saying some of our students at a particular school, the code is there, are having problems with their results. They promote by met up with, okay, that means they met up with the West criteria
Okay.
and they should be promoted. But on the report card, it indicates to repeat.
Yeah. So I think that we've seen this question over and over again. But I think the major thing that usually happens for some of the issues that I've seen in this case is that probably maybe the criteria that was set is like the student must have maybe say for example junior school 40% in maths and English, and 45% in maths and English, and 40% in any other subject, right? Any other four subject. Maybe the student does not meet up with, maybe in mathematics, the student does not pass that subject. So for the system to have said that student repeat, it's definitely that that criteria has not been met. Maybe it is the compulsory subject that the student did not meet up with the compulsory subject, right? So that is just the major thing. If the system is only promoting those that really meet up with that criteria, ensuring that, for example, it is the junior school that such student pass mathematics, English, which we've said that is compulsory. and any other 5 subjects. So in that case, if the student pass any 5 subjects but fail to pass that minimum score in that compulsory subject that was set, the system would not promote such student because that's just the criteria that has been set. So Mr. Julius Oduton, I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce that name correctly. So what you need to do in this case is double check again that they have that score correctly. If you double check, if it's still the same thing, just share your school details with us and share the learner details with us so we can help you to further drill down and get to see what exactly why this is the same. But in most cases, in 90% to 95% of most of the cases that we have seen in this kind of settings, it's either that the student did not meet up with that criteria and is always around the compulsory subject. The student might have 45, might meet up with all the scores, but maybe in the compulsory subject that was set, the student did not meet up with that particular criteria. So you might want to check in that area and let us know. You can share your school code with us and just you can drop it here or use any of the available WhatsApp platform so we can pick it up from there. Right. Thank you.
Okay, so this is from Peter Zano again, Mr. Peter. It says the past primary six learners are still in primary six class together with new primary six. What do we do?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Peter. Yes, that's something that we have also seen, right? So be rest assured that once you have used the promotion, you have promoted those that are in primary 5 to primary 6. Those that are in primary 6 before, they are going to have the graduated status. So if you have placed them, it's going to remove them from the primary 6 and they will be placed into the appropriate class. So no too much worries about all of that. The system will automatically update and give those ones graduated status, so they won't show in the current primary 6 again. But just ensure, confirm that you have done those primary 5 that are moving to primary 6 appropriately. So the system will update that itself. So no too much worries about that for now. By Friday or next week, you should see that update, already running. Yeah.
Okay, so
I hope that answered that question. If you have any question around it, please use the chat section. We are definitely going to take those questions because, once again, that's the essence of having this call support session. Yes, Princeton, you can
so
go ahead.
still from Peter Zano. So I'm trying to take his question. So how
Okay,
do we
good.
do transfers of pupils from outside Ogun State, like Lagos State?
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. So, once again, like I said, the various enrollment that are open for transfer depends on the class that the student is coming into, right? If the student is coming into other classes, GS2, SS2, and co, then you can use the school transfer, right? And the way you apply, just go to the OGSERA website, then you can, if the student is not a student in Ogun State, create a parent account, right? Once you have created a parent account, you can now see the enrollment, click on enrollment, you see all the open admission enrollment that are open, online applications that are open. From there, you see relocation. I said once again that relocation is for those that have active placement into all public schools already, right? And it's only open for JSS1, right? Meanwhile, you also see special placement. So special placement are for those that missed placement, that maybe they were not placed by their school to all of these public schools, right? Or they missed a previous exam, so they now want to gain admission to JSS1, public schools in JSS1. So student in that case, like in this case, the student is coming from Lagos State or other state and want to gain, admission into JSS1 in Ogun State, right? So such student can use the special placement option, right? So the other option which is also available is the school transfer, right? So there is no entry class. Just as one is not available for school transfer. School transfer also operates for whether primary school or junior secondary or senior secondary school. So either for primary, it applies for admission into primary 2, 3, 4, upwards. For junior secondary, GSS2, SS2, right? But those seeking admission into GSS3 and SS1 would have to first seek approval letter from the ministry stating why they want to do that first, right? But those are the available options. For students coming from outside the state, you either use the school transfer or special placement, and that depends on the class of entry that the student is getting to, is wishing to gain admission into. If it is GSS1, then it is strictly special placement. If it is to other classes, then it is definitely school transfer. So that could guide the process when you are applying for the admission. And once again, the process that you can apply is just go to the OGSERA website, then create a parent account if you're coming from outside the state. But if you're already a learner within the state, whether in private school or public school, just log in with your learner ID. Then you will see the enrollment option, so you can click on it, then apply for the which one that you are applying for in all the available options that are open for you. Yeah, so Peter, I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, please endeavor to use the chat section for further clarifications. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, so
So from
click on the next one.
KG Akinshola, he said the class allocation. I noticed that after selecting class for them, I realized the name in the class is more than the names that are supposed to be there. After removing, okay, I realized the name in A class is more than names that's supposed to be there. After removing B class from the broadsheet, what can I do?
I'm trying to really get this question. Uh, I noticed that after selecting class for them, I realized that the name is A more than the name B is supposed to be. After removing B from the broadsheet, okay. I don't know, Mr. KJ Akishola, if you can help rephrase this question, so I better know how to answer the question. But if from what I'm thinking, in your broadsheet, right? So let's students are promoted to primary 2B. Say like JSS 2B, for example. Maybe the students are coming from JSS 1A. From your once you have selected the class arm that you want the students to be placed to from your broadsheet, just click on the post recommendation button at the top. That post recommendation button will move them to the class arm for that next term. All right, just go ahead to go and check the next term and check the class. You see that the students are placed in the class that you have selected in the broadsheet when you click on the post recommendation button. So I don't know if you can help me rephrase this question. So I just know how to answer it, but if I have not answered it with my response, just help me better rephrase the question so I can understand and be able to attend to your questions correctly.
Okay, so we have another one. Hello and welcome, sir. Kindly explain on the mode of payment for transfer students and relocation students payment online is
Okay.
generating a serious problem. Money transferred without receipt.
Without receipt. All right. So I think thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. Right. So the major challenge with this is like we said, if you're having issues around payment, sometimes these technologies and network could be funny, most of the time you make payment and it is still yet to get successful, right? So on your platform, when you're applying, I think application fee is generally 5,000, right? So when you're applying, if you made a payment, and one key thing which we have done, to make it very unique and you can track the status of your payment is that you see that on your application page there's an option for payment history. So what you are doing in the payment history is to check the status of that payment if it is successful. If you see the payment history, it displays all your payment that you have attempted to pay, right? And for each of those payments, there is the option of check status. Okay, so what that check status is doing is helping you to update the status of that payment. For some of the status, you see that they are still pending. So if you click on the check status and update it, it's going to update that status. So if that transaction is successful, right, it's going to update the status to approve. Then you can now proceed. But if after you update the status, it is still changing it to decline, it means that that transaction has not been successful yet. In that case, you could have transferred the money and the money is successful. And that's why for some of the issues that we are having, when you make that 5,000 naira payment and you have been debited and you've seen the receipt, right? You received the receipt on your email. What we just need to do is just send us the receipt. What the details that are just sending to us is just the RL number and also the payment code. So we can quickly help you to double check and follow up with the payment gateway and quickly help you update that payment. But if you use the check status, that is the essence of the check status. Use the check status first to help you requery and update that payment. To if it is still declined and you have been debited and you have the receipt already, receipt that was sent to your email, not the one that you used for your bank, right? Receipt that was sent to your email for confirmation from the payment gateway. Okay, just copy out the RL number and the payment code and send it to us. So we can quickly help you double check and follow up with the payment gateway, then update your payment. So that would help you to solve that case. So right, all right. So that's just one of the easiest way, and I can say it's also unique in its sense that help you to check and track the status of your payment. Use it once again. How you can easily solve this is go to the payment history and update the status of that payment. If it is still declined and you have been debited and you have that proof, right? That decline is automatically checking if that transaction is successful. Okay, so just send us the RR number. If it is the 5,000 naira payment, send us the RR number and also the payment code. Then we can the status of the payment from there. So, Mr. Adjust, if you have further clarification on the, please use the comment section. So we'll be glad to take them as you have them.
All right, so another question from Mr. Fakeyo Laudua. Is it necessary for GSS3 students to print their Becker results with money before they are placed in SS1?
Yes, definitely. You notice that. Thank you. You notice that this Becker result is quite unique, right? On each Becker result that is printed, which is what schools will be using to receive them when they are placing them into SS class, there's this barcode that you can use to check for the authenticity of this result, right? So one of the key essence of when students will be received, when the SS class will be receiving students to SS to their SS class is that print out your Becker result and take it to the school. And the school can scan the barcode for authenticity of that result. Then they can now place the student appropriately. So it is essential that all students print out their Becker results. Again, each result has its authentication to check the authenticity of that result. Right? Each result has a barcode. So the schools, when they are receiving the students for SS class, they will be checking with all of their own from their own end as well, and also can also check the authenticity from the barcode on each of the results that the student bring to their school before placing them, to their class. So it is essential that all students print out their Becker results because that is what they will be using to place them to their next class.
Okay, so there's also another question from Mr. Julius Odento. Some students' airlines are correct, but the portal is showing that the account does not exist. Please help on this.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Julio. So it depends on, maybe you could help us to further break it down as to what you are applying for, right? So relocation, let me just give you a breakdown. Relocation, for example, if you're applying for relocation, yes, the student has a unique ID, a learner ID, which is correct, okay? But if that student has not been placed to a school before, to any public school before, the student will not be able to apply for relocation. Those are just the conditions that are attached, right? So it does not mean that the learner ID is not correct, but the student cannot apply for relocation because the condition for relocation is that the student must have been placed into any public school before, right? So that could be the issue in this case. All right. So another interesting thing is if this, I think most of the students that usually have this issue are coming from private school. All right. So another scenario that we have also noticed in this case is that the students in the previous school they just generated the learner ID, but it has not been synced. Okay, so if it has not been synced, then it is not recognized yet. So if that is the case for this scenario now, what you just need to do is to go back to the school, the SP of the previous school should help you sync those learner ID generated to OGSERA. Once they have synced it, it has recognized it. Okay, so those are the two options that are available and might cause the system saying that this learner ID is not generated. All right. So once again, if you definitely it's a private school. So if it in that case, um, double check with the school and ensure that they have synced those learner ID that they generated. Because one thing is to generate learner ID, the other next thing is to ensure that you have synced those students appropriately to OGSERA. So follow up with the school to ensure that they have synced the learner ID that they generated to OGSERA. Once that has been done, the system will definitely recognize the student learner ID. So the other option is that if you are not applying for the appropriate admission, so that should help solve it. Thank you.
All right, so another one from Mr. Mutunrayo Iyabode. Please, what happened to receipts for money we paid online? We need the receipt because all the zonal is asking for the receipt to attach with the form.
Okay, definitely you'll be able to print the receipt because that's also one of the uniqueness of the payment online and all of these things. For example, if you paid for 5,000 naira relocation, special placement, or transfer, right? The moment you make that payment, a notification email is sent to your email, right? So you'll be able to get your receipt directly from your email. Just ensure that your email is an active email and always check your spam messages or your inbox. You always get that email receipt notification from there. So it is that one that you print that you also attach to the for the zonal office as well for verification. So if you want to get access to your receipt, Miss Muchura Yabode, on your page you will see the you can also print form as well. But the moment you pay that 5,000 naira, the system automatically send receipt to your email. So just check your email and you will always get access to the receipt from your email from there. So I hope that answers your
Okay.
question.
So this is how do we admit pupils into primary two to primary six?
How do you admit people into primary two to primary six? Yes, definitely. That's a transfer. For students coming from outside, right? For students coming from outside the state that are not within the states, right? They will use the school transfer. They will use the Okay, so just such students should go and use the school transfer, whether from within the state or outside the state. You want to transfer from one class to from primary two to primary six. That's use school transfer. School transfer will help to solve that. So Mr. Dayton and Dewale, what they are going to use in this case is to use the school transfer.
A question from Mr. Samuel Berola. What should we do with the transfers made to another school and the status still reads pending instead of approved?
Yes,
So
so thank you. In this case, right, I could just also briefly explain the process. Once you have applied for transfer or you've applied for relocation or you've applied for special placement, right? So once you have done the application, print out your form, right? Once you have print out your form, you can take that to the ministry, okay, for that verification. Right, you can also check your status whether it has been approved or it has not been approved. Because whenever you log in, you see your status there, and the ministry is also the one doing the appropriate bodies in the ministry are also the one doing the approval. So you can know the status by logging in. Once it is approved, on your form there you see that this has been approved. So that's when you can now go to the school that you applied for and say, okay, I have applied and I've been approved. Then the SP of the school can now place you to can receive you and also place you to their available classes as well. So once again, once you have applied either for transfer, relocation, special placement, right? On your page there, on your dashboard, you always see the status of your application, whether it is still pending, whether it is declined, whether it is approved, right? So just keep on checking because the ministry, once you've applied, they get the notification. The bodies that is approving get the notification. Then once they have approved it, you will see you can always get the decision from your dashboard. Then you can print out the decision and follow up and go. All right, so I hope that answers the question, Samuel Fiola. If it does not, please use the chat section for further questions.
So there's a
Yes,
question that
okay.
says, could you please explain the process of students coming from public schools to private schools for primary, junior secondary, and senior secondary school classes?
Okay. Okay, so I guess the person is asking for a process of student coming from private to public, right? So that's quite. So there are three available routes. So the first one is the relocation, all right? For relocation is only for entry into JSS1. Okay, and relocation is for student that has been placed into public school in their various by their various each of these public school have catch schools that public schools that were allocated or allocated to them to place students into. So if you're going to apply for relocation, it's indeed for GSS1, and also that such term must have been placed before. Maybe I want to relocate, I want to change my school. That's when I can apply for relocation. That's one. All right. The other available route is special placement. Special placement is also admission only into GSS1, right? For special placement, whether I'm coming from outside the state or within the state, I can apply for special placement. The criteria that is also there is maybe the student missed placement, such student was not placed, or such student missed screening test, did not do screening test exam, or have not been in school for that previous session and want to gain admission to GSS1. So such student can apply for special placement. Once again, special placement, relocation, they are only entrance available for GSS1. Okay, so the other available option is school transfer. School transfer is available for both the primary section, junior section, and also the senior section. For the primary section, it's available for primary 2 to primary 6 or primary 5, right? Or for the junior section, it's available for primary GSS2, GSS3. It's just that anybody applying for GSS3 must meet with the ministry and get approval first before applying to GSS3 and SS1. But if I'm applying for SS2, then it is also definitely school transfer. So those are the three available options. School transfer available for anybody, whether within the state or outside the state. The same way also available for special placement within the state or outside the state, but it's only for GSS1. So I hope that answers your question, Kabir Abbas. And if it doesn't, please, you can always use the chat section for further clarification. This question. So if you have the next question, you could pick it up.
Okay, so this is also are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you, question.
Okay, so a question by Mr. Sunday Ezekiel. He said, "Good day, sir, Oma. Kindly help us on the issue of HOS appointment. We have
Okay.
a new headquarter."
Okay. All right. So I guess Precious should be here. Mr. Precious will be joining us anytime soon to also do further.
Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. So Mr. Precious will be joining us soon for further practical session on how to do all of these things. But thank you very much for the question, Mr. Sunday. Right. So, like I said, what you need to do first, because the new term has been activated. Okay. So what you need to do is that ensure you have done HOS allocation, because this is a new term, right? So one of the key things you need to do as SP is that at least first of all go and do your HOS allocation. So you can go to the broadsheet and place the student appropriately to their class. So in this your case now, what you need to do is that as a SP, log in, then appoint your SP. If you have a change of HOS, still use the previous one that was there before, right? At least so that can help you to get started with placing students from the broadsheet. Okay, then once the teacher transfer mode is available for you for next week, you can now appoint the new HOS as appropriate. But in this case now, log in as a SP. As a SP, you can appoint your SP HOS. So do the HOS allocation for this term. Once that is done, the HOS will be able to access the broadsheet. Then you can place the student appropriately. So I hope that answers your question. So while we are still waiting for Quincy to also come up, so we can also just take on the next question.
Okay. So
Okay.
there is
So we can take
one
the
that
next question.
said,
Okay.
okay. Are pupils repeating a registered or automatically remain in the class repeated?
Okay, good. I got that question. Right? So for students in this category, remember you also be doing all of these things from the broadsheet, right? From the third term broadsheet. So students in the case that are repeated, that the system has checked that they are repeated, The students, you can also decide to place them in their class but they are repeating. Say for example, GSS2, I'm in GSS2 brushing. Mr. Precious will be joining us for this demonstration anytime soon. So I'm in GSS2, for example, and in the brushing, the student repeats, right? Maybe I do not want to place the student in the class again. I want to change the class to the student should still repeat, but the class should be changed to GSS2D. All right, that class will also, that available class would also be there, and you can select the class so the students would automatically repeat that class. So all of that, the draw sheet will take care of that. The moment you click on the post recommendation, right? That's the essence of the draw sheet. Those that are promoted, those that are repeated by that class, once you click on the post recommendation button on the draw sheet, those that are promoted will be promoted to that class that you have set, and those that are repeated will remain in that same class that you have said that you want them to still be. But just remember that you only be do this, you only be able to do this from the HOS account page. So yes, that should help solve that. Those that repeat, they will stay in the class. Those that promote, they move to the next class and place them appropriately to their available class.
Okay. So there's a question here by Unshile John. Well done, sir. In situation where a student repeated the class and student's parents insisted that they want the student to be promoted because of her age, what can we do, sir?
Okay, I'm trying to get the question again. In the situation where a student repeated a class and student parents stated that they want the student to be promoted of that. That is definitely not acceptable, because it is the student did not meet the criteria. All right. So, and if the student does not meet the criteria, there's no two-way magic that can be done around that one. The state has set the criteria that this is the criteria for promoting students, right? And if the student did not meet that criteria, then it means that there's nothing that can be done. The student had to just repeat and go ahead with that session, right? So, Ms. Onoshile John, I don't know what.
Okay. So this is a follow-up question. Okay, so this question says, I got the answer to my question on learners ID generation, but the issue is that a public primary school in my area didn't generate ID for all their learners. So what do they do? Are you there, sir? Are you there, sir? Mr. Akinde? Okay, so I do not think we can reach Mr. Akinde right now. Mr. Precious, are you there? Mr. Precious.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so are you ready for us, sir?
All right, no problem. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so while Mr. Precious will take us round and explain some things to us, please do well to drop your questions in the comment sections. We are going to pick them up later. So, Mr. Precious, please, you have the floor.
All right. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are very sorry for the delay for coming late. And I hope we enjoy ourselves. And please, let's keep dropping our questions. And rest assured that your questions will be answered too. All right. So sorry, I'm so sorry for that. So, all right. So quickly, I'm going to be taking us through on how to move our learners All right. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen now for everyone to see. And please, before I share my screen, let me say this. You know, we've activated the new term. That's first term for this for 2022-2023 session. And so please, the things that I know we are all our SPAs are wonderful people, and we know what we ought to do once a new term is activated. As the SPA, you are expected to immediately appoint your HOS, that's the head of school, either the person is a principal, headmistress, or headmaster. Then you appoint your subject teachers for each subject teacher, and you appoint your class teachers for the new term. For the new term, before you can do anything with either broadsheet, report card, results for the previous term, that is for last session. So you have to appoint all the necessary appointments for the present term, please. And if you haven't done that, you won't be able to do what I'm about to do now. You won't be able to do it. So before you begin with the process I'm going to be showing you now, please and please endeavor to appoint your HOS, your class teachers, and your subject teachers. Thank you very much. I hope we can understand me. And I understand that there are some teachers, there are some HOS, some principals, and subject teachers, class teachers have been transferred. Like there was a transfer all around the state, and you have an issue around that. But please, all you need to do, like Mr. Akindeyin said earlier, just appoint the previous person that was there for now, so that you can continue with the process. And when the transfer module is activated, you make the necessary changes. So please continue with the normal people that were there before, so that you'll be able to do what I'm about to do. So right now, I'm going to share my screen for us to see. And if you can see my screen, please let me know. Miss Queensley,
Not yet, sir.
please, if you can, all right, if you can see my screens, type yes in the comment section.
No, sir, not yet, sir.
A minute to. Can you see it now?
Okay, sir. You're live, sir.
I'm live now.
Not
All right.
yet, sir. Not yet, sir. Please hold on. I can't see it yet.
I think that's next. So,
Okay, it's loading. Yes, sir. We've taken it off. Okay.
can you see it now?
It's yes, sir. Yes, yes.
All right. So if you can see my screen, just type yes in the comment section, so we can be on the same page. Please, I'm waiting for our yes on the comment section. If you can see my screen, please type yes in the comment section, please. Jeez.
Yes, it.
You can see my screen now. All right. This is Queensley. Please, can you see my screen?
It is loading right now. I can see it. I guess it is network. Just please hold on.
You said,
It is loading. Please hold on. Okay, no, I can't see it any longer.
all right, a minute, please. Let me just, is network issue. Let me address that.
Okay, so while he's trying to
Well, I think
address
that while
that,
we're waiting for Precious, maybe I'm just going to share the screen from my own end, or I just wait for him to be shared.
okay, please go ahead, sir. Okay, Mr. Precious, we can see your screen, sir. We can see your screen, sir.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so all right, let's get to it. All right, so this is a school, for example. Now I'm using the primary school for now, and please be note that it is the same process for all classes, be it junior class, SS class, primary class. It is the same process. But I hope we know that except for the terminal classes, that is for premises, SS3, and likes. So please, I'm using the primary school for now, so don't know that. So this is a school for now. This is a test school, and I have logged in with through the SPA. That's what you do, and I'm trying to see if this SPA. I'm still logging as an SPA now, and I'm trying to show you that SPA should make sure that the HOS has been appointed. As you can see, this is first term 2022-2023 first term, and I'm making sure that the SPA has appointed the HOS, in this case, principal this for this session. All right, so the principal for this session is Odukoya Modupe, and I'm going to log in as the HOS as Odukoya Modupe. Please, this process can only be done by the HOS, by the head of school. Once the SPA has done the necessary appointments and then the necessary approval, it is left for the HOS to now log in and do this process. And but before I log in as the HOS, let me show you something under class registration. If you want to know if your pupils your student have been moved to the next class, you come to to the next session, sorry, you come to NENA's class registration. You select first term 2022-23 first term, and you select program. In this case, I'm going to be working with primary two. Primary two. So if I select primary 2A now, this will just keep running. This is how it will come up. The reason why this thing is just running is because the placement has not been done by the HOS. So no student is in this class at all. So now let's go to the process and let me log in as the HOS now and show us how to go about it. So you go to manage teachers and search for Udukoya or something. All right. Let me log in as Udukoya. Are you still with me, please?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right. So I'm logged in as the HOS for this school now. That's Mrs. Udukoya. So the next thing for me to do now is to go to the broadsheet. All right. Now on the broadsheet, I'm going to be working on third term, last term broadsheet. That is 2021-2022 third term broadsheet. We want to move our student to this present term. So I'm going to be working with that term broadsheet, third term broadsheet, not first term. Please note that, please. I want us to know that very well. You are working with third term broadsheet, not this term broadsheet. So I select third term, and like I said earlier, I'm going to be working with primary two. So let me select primary two now. All right. All right, this is the broadsheet for primary two, for last term. So all I need to do here now is, once you log in as HOS and you reach the broadsheet for the class now, you have to scroll to the right end corner of the broadsheet, the right hand corner of the broadsheet. And as you can see, only two only two learners were promoted here. So I'll be able to only move these two learners to this present term. All the learners that repeated you won't be able to move any learners that repeat. So you are going to be able to move only those that were promoted last time. So I saw a complaint earlier today about these things. Someone said he did it, and the repeated learners are still showing in this present first term. That is not possible because you won't be able to move those that repeated. So please note that. So you'll be able to work with only those that were promoted last time. So all I need to do now is, like I said earlier, I'm working with primary two. So let me, okay. I'm working with primary two, and from what I'm seeing here, let me reload the page so that I'm seeing primary three there. So let me reload the page. Jesus. All right, primary two will be moving to primary three, and that is what is displaying here. So, in primary three, what arm do I want them to go to? So, we have three arms in primary three. We have A, B, and C. So, let me choose primary three B now for the two students. Primary three B. Once I click primary three, I select primary three B or any class arm you select, you immediately post recommendation like I did now. So once you choose the arm, you immediately post recommendation. And if you check the broadsheet again, you see that this has been moved back to primary 3A. Don't worry about this. Don't worry. We are not working with this term presently. We are trying to move our students to the next session, the next term. So don't worry about this at all. So if I go back now to check the learners card registration for primary three, you will discover that the two learners have been moved to first term primary 3B. So let's check that now. So can we all see this now? Please, if you can see this, drop yes in the comment section. These are the two learners I moved now. And as you can see, they are present in their class. I posted them to primary 3B on the broadsheet. That is why I am able to see them under primary 3B distinct class. So please, if you understand what I just did now, type yes in the comment section, please. If you understand the little thing I just did now, please can you type yes in the comment section. Let me just run us through. Let me repeat myself on the process again. All you need to do as an SPA is for you to appoint your HOS for the present term, appoint your class teachers and your subject teachers. Once you've done that, then the remaining this thing is going to be done by the HOS, the head of school. So you either log in as the head of school, or the head of school log in by him or herself, and immediately the head of school log in, you go straight to your broadsheet. And since we've activated the new term, so you have to select the term you want to work with. And in this case, we are working with third term broadsheet, not first term. Like I said earlier, please note this very well. You are working with third term broadsheet, not the present first term. So you select third term, 2021-22 third term. You select the class. In this case, we work with primary two. You select the class, primary two, and the broadsheet will come up. The broadsheet will only come up only if you have appointed HOS for the present term, for the present first term. So please endeavor to appoint your HOS for the present term. So once you've done that, the broadsheet will come up. Then you scroll to the right hand corner of the broadsheet. scroll to the end corner of the broadsheet where you have your comments action button. And that's the class teacher and HOS comment action button. Then under next class, like I said earlier, you'll be able to only move those learners that were promoted last time. All the repeated learners will remain in their classes. All the repeated learners will remain in their class. So don't nobody should even bother to say then the repeated learners and the promoted learners are showing in first term. That is not possible because you'll be able to only move those learners that were promoted. Please note that. And I say you select under the class arm or under the next class button, you select the arms you want the student to be promoted to. You select the arms you want the student to be promoted to in first term. And like I did, the reason why this is showing primary three is because primary two will be promoted to primary three. As you see, I choose primary two here, but here it is showing primary three. This is why this is showing primary three is because two are going to three, three are going to four, four are going to five, while five are going to six. So it's the normal process. So you select the arms you want them to be in first term. Like I did earlier, I chose primary 3B. I chose primary 3B and immediately I post recommendation. I post recommendation. And after that, immediately after that, like I said earlier, you once you post a recommendation, this will return to primary 3A. But I said earlier that you should not worry about this. Just go to your class, your learners class registration. This is where you are going to see whether your students have been moved to first term or not. It is not on the broadsheet. So like I moved them to primary 3B. So let's now check primary 3B like we did, and we saw like see this we can see the two students under primary 3B first term now. So please and please, I hope this is simple enough and we can understand. Please, if you understand this very well, like I said earlier, type yes in the comment section. Thank you very much for having me. It's nice. It's nice working here. All right. So,
Thank
Mr.
you
Akindele,
so
are you there?
much, Mr. Precious.
All right, sir.
Thank you. I'm sure Quincy is still here, so we can briefly. We have just limited time to wrap up today's session. We will be having more sessions for next week, Tuesday, and next week, Thursday. So we have just limited. So we can just briefly take up the questions that we have. If Mr. Faith is here, okay, Quincy is here. So let's just briefly see how we could rush through the questions. Then we should be able to wrap up in the next 15 minutes because we are already out of time. So by next week, we'll be having more sessions. So Quincy, if you're here, I'm waiting for you so that you could help us take up this question. Or if Mr. Faith could also help put up the questions that we still have left. So we could just quickly finish up with today's session. And meanwhile, like Mr. Precious said, for those of us that still have more questions or feedback around the whole process, you can use the question. Or what we would also do is probably just make it, like I said earlier, make a video, short video demonstration on all of these key things. We'll share them on our WhatsApp channel, so just YouTube channel and also the various WhatsApp platforms. So just ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So once we are pushing all of these video demo guides, you can always get the notification and go through them for easy understanding. So we are still waiting for Quincy to join, or if Mr. Faith is here, just help me. Let's quickly take on through the next questions that we have. I'm trying to do that from here, but I really do not have access to that page. Precious, help
I'm
me
also
see if you
trying.
have.
I'm also trying to do it. I'm also trying to do it, but I'm not. But let me read out the question.
Okay, good. Maybe that can
Let
help.
me just. It said, "Sir, is the recommendation button to be clicked once after the whole class session?" Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
All right. So is the
Okay.
recommendation button to be clicked once after the whole class session, or immediately after working on each learner to be moved?
What? Yeah, no, just you can just do it once, right? The broadsheet is based on all the classes. Say, for example, you selected JSS2, it has displayed all the students in JSS2 for you. So just select all the available class arms that you want the student to go to. Then you click on the post recommendations once, right? So you can do it once, and if you want to do one at a time, but that is just quite stressful, right? Just select all the student thing with their class arm, then use the post recommendation to post them. Once you click it once, it's going to post them appropriately, like that. So that can help to answer your question, Mr. Adeyton Adewale. I'm sure we have more questions that have already previously been asked before. So uh, if Mr. Faith can just quickly help us through up, there are more questions
I
that we've
think
not
Mr.
answered.
Faith is the only one that can do that for now.
Yes, yes. Mr. Faith, are you here? Or just grant me the access to be able to point those. Okay, good. All right, as the last time I was having 516 students. Presently, I can only see 155 in the class registration. Okay, good. So, staff group. So, this is definitely because you've not promoted the student appropriately to their class arm. So, if you follow the guideline that Mr. Precious just shared right now, just go to your broadsheet. Remember, you only be able to do that with the HOS account. So, go to the broadsheet and go and select the appropriate class arm for the student and click on post recommendation. So, that action will move the student appropriate to their class arm for the new term. Okay, so just know that this is because you've not done, the student have not been promoted and placed to their class arm. So just log into the HOS account or let the HOS log in, then you'll be able to place them to the appropriate class arm. Once that is done from the broadsheet and you click on the post recommendation button, like Mr. Precious shared, you would be able to everything will reflect appropriately. So I hope that answers your question, stack group. So you can help us go to the next question, Mr. Faith. So we can do this very, very brief and quickly wrap up. Can we allocate class to go teach and teach for Nigeria fellows? Well, this is a question that the ministry will have to follow and attend to. I'm not sure. The teachers that you only be able to allocate classes to are teachers that are showing on your page, and I'm not sure these ones currently have
Let me
access.
let me talk on that.
Yeah, briefly go ahead,
Right.
please.
All right. The straight answer is no. Is no. You can only add teachers, staffs that have OGSB number. So you can't
Yeah.
add Ogun Teach or Teach for Nigeria teachers on the platform. So thank you
Well,
for
this
that.
is this is something what the ministry will also have to review if they are providing that availability for them. But for
All
now,
right.
it's only teachers that have OG numbers that are even on the platform for you to, assign subject teacher allocation to. So, but as we go, I'm sure the ministry will be communicating with us as appropriate on this. So, Mr. Onishile John, I hope that answers that question. So, we can briefly move on to the next question, Mr. Faith. Okay. We can't view student as scores on the dossier again. Please, what can we do, sir? Precious, do you want to take this or I should take this?
Students score on dossier again. Please, please take it. Take it, please. Take
All
it.
right, so the essence of this, the reason why you can't view student scores, I'm sure we've shared this update over and over on the WhatsApp platform, right? Is that there are some subjects that are still registered for the students. Okay, what you just need to do if result is not showing for student is because some subjects are still registered for the students. So go back to the subject registration for that term, ensure that no subject is you can double check from here. What we usually notice is that maybe the IRS, CRS is registered for all the students, right? Just double check with those subjects and ensure that the students are assigned to their subject appropriately. All right. So once that is done, we'll share. Maybe you can reach out to Mr. Precious or reach out to us again on the WhatsApp platform, so we can just share the various steps for you. But just know definitely that's because there are some subjects that are registered for the student that they are not doing. That is why the result is not showing up for them yet. We will share the details again because of time right now. We'll share the details again on the various WhatsApp platforms. So please endeavor to check from there on how you can solve this. So we can go to the next question. Okay, I have moved my pupils before HOS was asked to do so. Now I'm having problem with what to do. My present primary 5 and 9 primary 6 instead of primary 5. I don't see primary 6 pupils at all. All right, so in this case, Mr. Oluwatoyin, all right, so that has because maybe you moved the student wrongly. Okay, so in this case, what you need to first do is to go first to your first term 2020/2023 first term, the learners class registration list. Go back there, and check the various classes and ensure that the students are placed in their class. So if the students are not currently in their classes, so it means that you have not done that from the broadsheet. So you go to the broadsheet for third term, and promote them appropriately to their class time. So for the ones that you have moved from primary 5 to primary 6, right? So first of all, just go back to the broadsheet first, right? We just need to drill down the issue. Go back to the broadsheet first, third term broadsheet. Okay, go back to third term broadsheet and put their classes as appropriate and try to use the post recommendation. That should help you to reverse all of the previous changes that you have done to normal, right? But if it does not, just reach out to us on the various WhatsApp channels so we could help you to drill down more. But just first of all, go back to your third term broadsheet and do the process just like Mr. Precious explained to us earlier, and that should help solve that issue for you. But if it does not, just let us know via all the various WhatsApp channel that we have, then we can help you to further drill down. Okay, so I hope that answers the question. Please let's go to the next question. Let's just see how well we could catch up with all the questions that we have left, the backlog ones that we have. So, Winsley, are you here now? Can you help with the questions now? I think he's taking the question from back. Okay, good. How can we reduce the list of subjects in the broadsheet? Moreover, on curriculum page, we try to remove some mistakenly registered subject, but giving error. Okay, so in this case, right, remember in your subject registration, right, there's a button for remove subject, remove unregistered subjects. If you click that subject per class, it's going to remove subjects that are not registered. Okay, so another thing you can also do, once you have done that, once you have clicked on that remove unregistered subject, that should help solve that issue. You should have the subject appropriately. All right, so another thing that we have noticed, and this is usually for those of us that have that are in the senior secondary humanities or business, right? So if you see notice that some subjects are displaying in broadsheet that students are not doing. Okay, so what happened is that maybe for second term and first term, those subjects are registered for the students. So what you will do to solve this issue is that go to your student subject registration, student subject registration page. You have to check term by term. So maybe start with third term. Ensure that all the subjects registered for the student are appropriate. Switch back to second term. Also check by that subject. So if you are able to check by first term third term subject, second term subject, third term subject, and you remove the ones that they are not doing, that should help solve the issue. In most cases, what we also notice is that maybe for last term is only one student has registration for all that subject. That is why it is displaying in the broadsheet. So in this case again, what you need, especially those of us that are in the senior school, I think humanities and business are the ones that usually have this issue. Like you have more subject displayed in your broadsheet. So to solve it, go to your subject registration, start with third term. Ensure that all the subject currently displaying are only the subject that the students are registered for. Remove the ones that they are not doing. Switch back to second term, right? Check across all the students again to ensure that no student has a subject that is registered that they are not supposed to be doing. So double check for third term, second term, third term. Once you've done this, that will help you to solve that issue. Just try it and let us know. One of the key things we would also do to this is Mr. Precious would help us make demo videos on all of these things. We will share it starting from tomorrow, next week, and we'll also be having more sessions again. So if you still have these issues, you can always just let us know. We would be able to respond to them from there. So can we go to the next question? Very brief. I think we have just 5 minutes left. Let's see how well we could rush the questions. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. John. In a situation where a student repeated the class and student parent insisted, I think we've taken this question, so we can begin to drill down now. I'm sure we've taken this question. Tell us the process. Okay, I think Mr. Precious, okay, for migration of GSS3 student to SS1 student, we've said that this will be done. Notification will be shared as to the process on how we are to do, because currently students are still checking their Baker results, right? So that process is still ongoing for this week. By next week, either beginning of next week or before the end of next week, we are going to share the process on how you can place students from GSS3 to SS1. And I stated vividly that one of the very important things is that students must have their results printed out, their Baker results printed out from there. So you'll be able to place them appropriately from there. So we could take up the next question. Mr. Precious and Quinsley, if you guys are here, could you briefly take up the next question? Then we can wrap up in the next few. I'm so sorry that we'll not be able to take more questions as we proceed. I'm waiting for Mr. Precious and Quinsley to just come up so they could take over with the question. Just quickly wrap up with the question, right?
All right. All right.
We've
Thank
answered
you.
this question. We've answered this question. Okay, maybe more because we are out of time. Maybe we should just wrap up the session for today. Further questions will be attended to on the various WhatsApp channel, and like I said once again, we'll make demo videos to share with us. So we can give our closing remark at this point. We've had a very long day. So, Mr. Precious, just very brief, and Queensley, just very brief. Let's share our closing remark then. Yes, please.
What I can't hear- What did you say?
I said, let's just share closing remark. It's so unfortunate that we'll not be able to take more questions as we go on. So for next week session, we'll be able to
Right.
continue the session.
All right. Whereas, I want to really thank everyone for joining us today. Uh, though the notification was a bit late, but you people still try your best to join us. Thank you very much, and let's keep the spirit up, and may God bless us. And please, let us make sure to share this video link to all our teachers around. You can watch this video again on YouTube. So if you have any issue around no, and around which is
Yes.
almost all the issues have been attended to here. So please let's make sure to share the link with our beloved teachers, our colleagues around, so that they can watch this video over and over again and understand how to go about these things seamlessly. So thank you very
Thank you
much
so
again, once
much.
again for joining. Bless you. Thank you.
Right. So Quincy, can you just briefly wrap up? Closing remarks. So we just do that.
Okay, so once again, like Precious said, we want to say thank you for always obliging us despite the short notice, and we hope to also provide you with more user experience, more suitable and easier user experience, and also please we understand that there are peculiarities with different schools, and especially with the payments currently going on. Please, if you have issues on payments, kindly do well, like Isiaka said, drop your RRL number and payments code on your WhatsApp group, or probably you private chat us, then we would actually deal with that. And we hope to get better as the day goes by. So this is me signing out. Once again, I'm Quincy Ademola, and with my team, we're sure that we'll do well and we'll stay and we'll also support you.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Quincy and Precious. All right. So once again, thank you guys. We hope to see you guys in the next session. Don't forget that we're having more session for Tuesday and Thursday, and also one of the key things we'll be doing is prepare demo videos and share with you on all the various WhatsApp platforms. And very importantly, ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So once we are dropping all of these videos, you are able to get the notification on all of it. So thank you once again on behalf of the Dance teams and all of us. I want to say a very big thank you for this session. We look forward to having you the next couple of more sessions that we're having next week. So thank you once again, and this is me also signing out. So see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.